What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Darius Great here, back again for another video. This time I am reviewing Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2. They did the double drop today for the Ahsoka series. It is finally here. I got the lights in my room. They're like the white lights, like Ahsoka's lightsaber. Yeah, man. I'm ready to get into this with y'all. I have been looking forward to this show for a very long time. This has probably been my most anticipated Star Wars show of all time, replacing the hype I had for Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi for me was like a different level of hype because I was a prequel fan. I grew up with the prequels, right? So seeing that, getting to that point was amazing. Seeing Obi-Wan Anakin again and whatnot, and we know how the show turned out. Wasn't the best. I don't think it was terrible. It could have been better. But this Ahsoka show really had my hype because, number one, I love the character of Ahsoka. Number two, we're dealing with the Star Wars Rebels crew, like we're getting more into them. This is kind of like a continuation of Rebels, and I love the Rebels show. And number three, this is Dave Filoni. Like this is fully Dave Filoni's baby right here, Like, The Mandalorian is kind of more of Jon Favreau's baby with Dave on the side, kind of like as his Robin, his Batman. But this time, Dave is Batman. Because when it comes to Ahsoka, it's his creation. He created it with George Lucas. And, same thing with Rebels and Clone Wars and all that. This is his chance to get in the driver's seat and be like, all right, let me show you how it's done. And I gotta say, obviously I'm going to spoil this first episode. I'm going to talk about things that happen in here because I feel like it's almost impossible not to talk about it. It's almost impossible to talk about it without spoiling stuff. So, overall, as kind of like a general thought real quick, as a fan of Star Wars Rebels, I definitely felt the love. I definitely felt the nod. This definitely felt like if you watched Rebels, you went straight into this, hey man, it worked out just fine. Obviously, you would probably need to watch, at least the Ahsoka episodes of The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. But definitely felt the Rebels' love here in this first episode. And getting to see Ahsoka again, getting to see her utilize her lightsabers against some enemies here was very fun. I thought the lightsaber combat that we got in this episode was pretty good, pretty solid. Nothing crazy, but pretty good. So yeah, man, this whole episode, first off, the way this episode started off with an opening crawl, like it wasn't like the classic Star Wars. Like it wasn't that. It wasn't even from like that point of view where like it's going up like that. But like there was an opening crawl to it, and as soon as that hit, I was just like, "Yo!" I was not expecting it. It really hit me in a certain kind of way. But yeah, this is all about Ahsoka looking for Thrawn and by extension Ezra Bridger. And her and, Sabine, who we meet in this episode, they're not the only ones after Thrawn, after the map, like a map that can find, where Thrawn is. Thrawn's apprentice from The Mandalorian Season 2 that Ahsoka fought in that one episode, I forgot what episode it was, she's looking for Thrawn as well. She's trying to bring Thrawn back. Also, Ray Stevenson, may he rest in peace, playing Baylan Skoll, a dark Jedi of some kind, and his apprentice, I believe, what's her name? Her name's like Shin or something like that. I think it was Shin. It said it in the subtitles, not the actual episode, I don't think, of either episodes. But they're working with her. They're looking for Thrawn as well. They're trying to bring Thrawn back, and it's kind of a mystery when it, at least in this episode, in terms of why they're looking for Thrawn. And the opening scene with them, showing them doing their lightsaber stuff, it was nice. It was nice. So yeah, I loved in this episode that we got to meet, more of the Rebels crew. We got to meet Sabine. We got to meet Hera. We got to meet Azadi. He's now Governor Azadi of Lothal, played by Clancy Brown in the Rebels cartoon, and he plays him again in this, and that was a nice touch, man. It was just like, if you've never seen Rebels, obviously that didn't do anything for you. But if you saw Rebels and you know that Clancy Brown was the voice of Azadi, it's just like, oh, I love it, love it, love it. And getting to see live action Lothal was just, it's amazing, man. Like, I feel like I'm gonna talk a lot about how I'm a fan of Rebels, and if you haven't watched Rebels, you're not gonna get that same feeling. But it's just special, man. Um, so yeah, this episode I thought in general was pretty good at setting us up on our journey, right? In terms of what we're after, in terms of what the main goal of the season is going to be, and introducing us to our threats, right? At the end of the episode, we saw Sabine in danger. She was not in a good spot by the end of that episode, and it was definitely showing a little bit that the stakes are high in terms of what we're after this season, man, of finding Thrawn, of finding Ezra. It's going to come with some stakes, man. And overall, as an episode, as a first episode, I thought it did a bang-up job at getting us started on our journey. I would give it a solid, 4 out of 5, man. It was nothing too crazy at all. Solid 4 out of 5 episode. And yeah, man, I'm going to get right into episode 2. Yeah, I'm going to get into my thoughts of episode 2 right now. Because episode 2 was a shorter episode, right? It was shorter. It wasn't like a spinning of the wheels type of episode, but it was a shorter episode. But it was further. I can see why they decided to go with a double episode drop, because it feels like by the end of this second episode, we're really on our journey, in terms of Ahsoka and Sabine together on their path to go find Thrawn and Ezra. And in this episode, we get to see our boy Chopper in live action. Now, if you've never seen Rebels, right, you have no idea who Chopper is. Chopper is a psychopath of an astromech, right? Like, we've seen R2-D2 in the Clone Wars and the prequels. At times, R2, he'll murk a fool. He will murk a fool every once in a while. Like, you guys remember in was it episode 3 at the beginning, during the rescue mission for Palpatine, where he just sprays oil on some battle droids and sets them ablaze, right? Now, Chopper does that type of stuff, but to actual human beings and other aliens and sentient beings, not just droids. Anyone gets it. In Rebels, the man has a body count. His body count is so incredibly high. It's astounding. And I hope this season, the rest of this show, I hope they do some of that. I hope we get to see Chopper just murk fools, because that man, that droid right there is a killer. He is. And it was fun getting to see Hera and Chopper, and it was the Phantom, doing some starship fights. What this episode concerned itself over was finding or chasing after the map that Ahsoka found that would lead to finding Thrawn and Ezra, right? Sabine had it at the end of the first episode, and she lost it when Shin came and took it from her and stabbed her. So now they have that map. And the what's her name? Thrawn's apprentice. She's a Night Sister, which I feel like for a second I thought that they said that before in The Mandalorian. Morgan Elsbeth is her name. I thought they said that before in Mandalorian, but they didn't. They definitely didn't. It was definitely new information. I feel like what made me think it was new information, or what made me think it was old information, is that I feel like I saw a Star Wars theory video where he was just oh, she's a Night Sister or something like that. Maybe that's where it came from, but she is a Night Sister. We get to see her use a little bit of Night Sister magic with the green glow and everything when she gets the map and opens it up. And I'm slightly confused on a point, because there is, when she opens up that map, right, it shows the galaxy that they're currently in, right? The galaxy that is Star Wars. And then it shows a path to a different galaxy altogether, which I'm guessing that's where Thrawn and Ezra are at. I assume they were like still in, the main galaxy, but in the unknown regions. But maybe it could be that the unknown regions leads to an entirely different galaxy. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I read the canon Thrawn books that came out with Timothy Zahn. He did 3 of them, like a trilogy of books, like Thrawn Alliances, then Thrawn Treason. I read through all of them, or I listened to them with the audiobooks. So like I have a lot of information, a lot of baggage with like Thrawn and the unknown regions and his people, the Chiss, and I have a lot of baggage with that stuff, and I'm just constantly thinking in my mind, is any of that going to come into play in this show, in this season? But yeah, we also got to see Ahsoka fight Merrick, the Inquisitor that we've seen in the trailers, the like masked, like knighted looking helmeted Inquisitor that people have theorized is maybe Starkiller or Barriss Offee. I personally think it's Barriss, although they did say that it was a he, but I think it could just be Barriss, playing a part. But at the same time, I don't want to get my hopes up that it's anyone in particular, because then I don't want to have one situation. I don't want to have one of those situations where I'm like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, and then it's not that, and then I'm disappointed because I got my own hopes up. But in the back of my mind, I will keep it that maybe it's Barriss or even Starkiller. I'm telling you right now. If that man's mask comes off and it's Sam Witwer, I'm going to lose my mind. I am. And I will record that reaction and I will share it, because, good Lord, I've been waiting for the day that Starkiller becomes, that he enters canon. And I believe Dave Filoni originally in Rebels wanted to use Starkiller as an Inquisitor, but he didn't go with that. Imagine if, Dave Filoni is like, let me go ahead and pluck that idea back and use it this time. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think it's going to be that. Yeah, what else happened in this episode? We got to see more of Sabine, but by the end of it, Sabine has kind of embraced what she has to do, right? She puts back on her Mandalorian armor. She gives herself her haircut from the show, and her and Ahsoka are on this journey together to go find this map so they can go find Thrawn and Ezra before, the Dark Jedi and the Night Sister do. And again, it did a good job at setting things up. It was a bit of a slower episode because it was a shorter episode, so it kind of felt like they were, just kind of going through, not doing anything too crazy, because they had a shorter runtime. But all in all, I think it was another pretty good episode, man. I'd probably give it out of 5, probably give it about a 3.5 out of 5. It wasn't as good as the first one to me, but these 2 episodes together, I think, were a pretty good package deal to start off and set us up for the rest of the season. And I only hope that they stick the landing, because a lot of times on Disney Plus, whether it be Star Wars, but even more so in the MCU, Marvel stuff, these shows tend to run out of steam. They tend to go downhill about episode 3 or 4. More so like 4 and 5 and onward, it starts going downhill. I hope that's not the case for this one. I have high hopes that it isn't. And man, as a Star Wars fan, I walked away from these first 2 episodes feeling really good, feeling really hopeful for the future. You could say I have a new hope for the future. That was so cringe. I need to get out of here. But yeah, man, I can't wait to see more of this. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Run up those likes. All right, click that thumbs up button to let YouTube know that you like what you see. Okay, subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell so you get notifications when I drop new videos. And man, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Or should I say, may the Force be with you.